Hello everyone, this is Oge's podcast, a podcast for social issues that bug us. My name is Ogechi, aka Dr. Mindset. My background is in psychology, management, and law. I am the lead consultant at Mindset Co, where I help people via life coaching services, dispute resolution, counseling, and resource management. This podcast hopes to blend in fun and facts as we delve into your mindset. Episode 1, December 2019. Lying is a common feature of social interaction amongst humans. This behavior even occurs in some animals. Lies often lead to some benefits. For example, if a person lies to avoid social embarrassment, while some people lie more frequently than others, it is not typically a sign of mental health condition. Today's social bug is pathological lying. It may be a sign of an underlying mental health condition, such as personality disorder. That said, what is there to know about pathological liars? What is pathological lying? What causes it? What are the signs and symptoms to look out for pathological lying and diagnosis? Are there any coping mechanisms or treatments that are out there available for pathological liars or people who have suffered from its consequences? Let's get into our social issue. Pathological lying is the chronic behavior of compulsive or habitual lying. Unlike telling occasional white lies to avoid hurting someone's feeling or getting in trouble, pathological liars seem to lie for no apparent reason. It is the compulsive urge to lie about big or small matters, regardless of the situation. In this podcast, I discuss pathological lying in more details, including how to recognize it and how to cope with this behavior in others. To understand what pathological lying is, we must first understand what lying is. Lying refers to the intentional deceiving of others by making false statements, often for some form of personal gain. There have been some attempts to outline differences between pathological and non-pathological lies, but as more research continues to make appropriate distinctions, it is fair to state that non-pathological lying is a commonplace and not a sign of any disorder. However, a person who pathologically lies will lie compulsively without any clear benefit to themselves. A key feature of pathological lie is that it has no obvious motivation. It is usually possible to determine why someone has told a lie, such as the benefits to themselves or the avoidance of embarrassing or stressful social situation. But with pathological lying, it occurs for no clear reason and does not seem to benefit the individual. It is also unclear whether a person who pathologically lies is aware of their deceit or is capable of thinking rationally about their lies. Pathological lying can make socializing very difficult and leads to significant interpersonal problems with loved ones and colleagues. Let's talk about the causes. There has been little research in this area, and the causes of pathological lying are not clearly known. It is also unclear whether pathological lying is a symptom of another condition or a condition itself. For instance, compulsive lying is a feature of several other conditions such as fictitious disorder, which is a condition in which a person acts as though they are physically or mentally ill when they are not. Also, fictitious order by proxy is when someone lies about another person having an illness. This condition you find mostly in mothers who make up illnesses in their children and lie to the doctor about it. The cause of fictitious disorders are unknown, but some theories include biological or genetical causes, childhood abuse or neglect, presence of a personality disorder, substance abuse, depression. The causes of pathological lying are unknown, but some theories include biological or genetical causes, childhood abuse or neglect, low self-esteem, the presence of personality disorder, substance abuse, and also depression. Let's talk about pathological lying and personality disorders for a bit, because pathological lying is a possible symptom of certain personality disorders, including borderline personality disorder, BPD, narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, antisocial personality disorder, ADP, APD. BPD is a condition that makes it difficult for a person to regulate their emotions. People with BPD may experience several mood swings, feeling greater instability and insecurity, and they do not have stable sense of self. The hallmark for NPD are illusion of immense importance and the need for admiration and special treatment. Researchers argue that while pathological lying may, in theory, occur in people with APD, those with this condition often lie for personal gain or pleasure. A person with BPD or NPD may lie to distort the reality into something that fits in with the emotions that they are feeling rather than the facts itself. These personality disorders can lead to significant challenges with interpersonal relationships. Another medical condition linked with pathological lying is frontotemporal dementia. A case study of one person showing signs of pathological lying found that their behavioral patterns were similar to those that can occur with frontotemporal dementia. Frontotemporal dementia is a form of dementia that affects the frontal and temporal brain regions and causes changes in behavior and language. Some of these changes can include inappropriate social behavior, lack of empathy, loss of insight into behavior of others and one's self, change in food preferences, compulsive behavior, boredom, and agitation. Alright, so let's talk about signs and symptoms of pathological lies. Pathological lies are compulsive and may start small. The lies can gradually become more elaborate and dramatic, particularly if they are necessary to cover up for an earlier lie. They often become complicated by unnecessary amounts of details. People who lie frequently are not necessarily pathological liars. The most distinguishing feature of a pathological lie is that it does not have a motive. So therefore, a person who frequently exaggerates stories to make themselves appear more interesting or consistently lies to cover up the mistakes that they have made is unlikely to be a pathological liar. These are clear motives that advance particular interest. Pathological lies are easy for others to verify, which can ultimately be harmful to the person who tells them. For example, an individual makes a false statement or grandiose claim about their past that are simple for others to check. Diagnosis and pathological lying. With diagnosis, pathological lying is not a formal diagnosis in itself, but a medical health practitioner or a therapist may recognize the behavior as a sign of another underlying condition, such as a personality disorder or a fictitious disorder with overlapping symptoms, including compulsive lying. Some theorists believe that it is possible for pathological lying to be an independent symptom, as some people engage in pathological lying without having any underlying medical condition. It can be challenging for a health practitioner to determine whether someone is engaging in pathological lying because there are no physiological or biological tests for it. It can be challenging for a health practitioner to determine whether someone is engaging in pathological lying because there are no physical or biological tests for it. To diagnose most health conditions, a health practitioner will use clinical interview. If the person is not honest about their lying, it could be necessary for the health practitioner to talk with family members or friends to help identify patterns of pathological lying. That said, how do you cope with someone who is a pathological liar? Coping with someone who lies pathologically can be very challenging. Forming and maintaining a trusting relationship with this person can take time and practice. More often than none, it puts a heavy strain on the relationship. Firstly, it is important to remember that the person may not intend to cause harm or benefit from these lies. Pathological lying can be a compulsion, and it often leads to negative consequences for the person telling the lies. Therefore, try to avoid responding angrily or blaming them for their lies. Secondly, it is also helpful to be aware that pathological lies may be a sign of an underlying mental health condition. Talking to the person about whether they have any other symptoms can help them identify the problem and seek help from a medical practitioner or therapist. Now, as pathological lying is not a recognized medical condition, there are no formal treatments for it. Though, if a health practitioner suspects that an underlying health condition is causing the lying, they may suggest treatment for that condition. Say, for example, a treatment for personality disorder usually involves psychotherapy or medication. As pathological lying can be harmful to others, a health practitioner may also suggest therapy for those close to the individual. A therapist will work with them to help manage their responses to the problem. To round things up, and just to recap what I've said throughout the podcast, pathological lying is when a person compulsively lies without a clear motive for doing so. The lie may become elaborate and detailed, but they are often easy to verify. Pathological lies do not lead to any lasting benefit for the person who tells them, and they can be harmful to others. It is vital to remember that the lying is a compulsion and that a person who pathologically lies does not intend to harm others or better themselves. As pathological lying is not a recognized medical condition, there are no formal treatments for it. However, pathological lying may be a sign of an underlying condition that a health practitioner can help with, such as a personality disorder. Special thanks to bensounds.com for the music Funky Element and Aaron Candola for the What to Know About Pathological Liars article on Medical News Today. This has been an Oge's Social Issues podcast. Please like and subscribe. Also, if you would like me to talk about your social issues that bug, please send me an email to hello@mind-setco.com. Podcast recorded December 2019. Thanks for now and take care.